Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for checking it out if you're new. Today I've got a different kind of video for you. So, as you know, if you're a follower of this channel, I watch a lot of movies, play a lot of video games, TV shows, and even partake in some reading. And so I just thought that I would start at the end of each month making these videos to kind of recap what I did, what I watched, what I played. Things like that, just to share whether maybe you should be checking them out as well. So starting off with movies, I actually started off the month of March watching the first Creed to get ready for Creed 3. If you don't know, these are sequels to the Rocky films that star Sylvester Stallone. This time Michael B. Jordan plays the role of Adonis Creed, the son of Apollo Creed from those movies. And they're really fun, they're really cool. They're sports movies, first of all, so you should know what you're getting into there. But yeah, I thought the first Creed, directed by Ryan Coogler, director of the two Black Panther movies, for you Marvel heads. And so yeah, I think definitely check that one out if you haven't already. Next up, I've got Ready or Not that we watched for the channel because it is directed by Radio Silence, who did the most recent two Scream movies, 5 and 6. And so, to get ready for 6, my friends and I, we did a video on it where we went back and checked out Ready or Not. Still a fun film. Very fun, very cheesy. You have to kind of know what you're getting into, but not really. If you know nothing, go in knowing nothing. Watch it blind. You'll have a great time. It's a fun one. I like it a lot. Oh, and we gotta get Samara Weaving and more stuff, you guys. After that, a couple days later, I watched Creed 2. And honestly, most people say Creed 1's better than Creed 2, but I think I liked 2 more. In Creed 2, Adonis is at the top of his game until he's introduced to this rival, Victor Creed. Not Victor Creed, he's a Creed. Victor Drago, the son of the man who killed his father, Ivan Drago. And so they have their fight, it's the good old, this huge hulking man, how are you ever supposed to beat him? He's so strong. Like I said, sports movie, but it's cool. I think the fights are a lot better in this one. They're a lot cooler. The training sequences are great. Stallone is great. And that emotion of whether he wants to train Adonis because of what happened to his father, things like that get brought back up. And so, yeah, like I said, really good time. Both the first two Creeds, at least at the time of this video, are streaming on HBO Max, so go check them out. And then, like I said, to get ready for Scream 6, we watched Ready or Not, and then, of course, I also watched the original Scream. Love this movie so much. This is probably my favorite horror movie ever, because as someone who loves movies and wants to make movies and things like that, I mean, all this movie does is make fun of movies and how to make movies and the tropes and things like that. And so it's so smart, so clever. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I should have rewatched all of them to get ready for 6, but I ran out of time, and so I did watch at least 5. I at least watched Scream 5 before going to see 6. A lot of people kind of hate on 5, it gets a little bit of a bad rap. It is the Force Awakens of the Scream universe where, they're kind of the same movie again. But I think it's got charm to it. I like the characters. I really like, no spoilers, but I really like the killer's motivations in this. As someone who's constantly in fandoms and, like I said, similar to the first one, someone who's so invested in how you make movies and things like that, that I thought the killers in this one were really fun, really cool. And I will probably rewatch the whole franchise when Scream 6 is released on Blu-ray. I already have that one pre-ordered. And then, of course, like I just said, to get ready for it, my friends Phil Morgan and I, we took the road trip and we met up halfway because we live hundreds of miles apart. We met up to watch Scream 6 together, and that was a good time. I don't love the movie. It's probably in the middle/bottom of my Scream ranking, but hey, ranking movies is silly and kind of stupid anyways. I like all of these movies. I'll still watch Scream 6 when I rewatch the franchise. It's just not my favorite. Go check out that video if you've seen it to hear some of our spoiler thoughts, because I'm not going to spoil the movie here, obviously. After that, the very next day, after getting home from that road trip, I went and saw Creed 3. Because, that's why I watched the first two. This is Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut, and I think this movie is so good. Yes, it's a sports movie. You know, it's same old, same old. They're gonna fight, they're gonna box. But there's something about the characters here, the performances. You know, you've got Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Creed. You've got Jonathan Majors as Damien, and they are two characters where you've got the emotion there. And this fight is cool. Michael B. Jordan said this movie's influenced by anime, and you can tell. Go watch this one when you get the chance, or when it comes to streaming. And then 2 days later, I went and saw Scream 6 again. Like I said, I don't love it, but that's kind of why I had to go see it again, because these movies, they're murder mysteries. And so they just get better and better every time you rewatch them, because it gives you that better perspective. You know, now you're looking for the clues of, oh, they did slip up, or, oh, they almost got caught there. And so, yes, like I said before, go see Scream 6 at some point, or watch it when it comes to Paramount Plus, inevitably. If you're a Scream fan, you're gonna like it. Woo! Now we've got some interesting ones here. Some friends and I, for St. Patrick's Day, we watched the movie Leprechaun, starring Warwick Davis, for Phil with 1L's channel. Check that out up here. And so, yeah, that was a fun one. That was an interesting one. It actually was a really good time. You know, is it a good movie? No. But we had a lot of laughs. And so, I would definitely recommend, if you've got some friends and some spare time and you have Peacock for some reason, check that one out when you've got a moment. And then back to back, I watched the two Shazam movies, Shazam and then Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Rewatching that first Shazam movie reminded me of just how good it was. Like, I know it's not this huge world-ending event, but it's it's very wholesome. David F. Sandberg is kind of, as my friend Phil said, Diet Sam Raimi, which is not like a knock on him. If anything, it's a compliment. He explores those family elements. He's got good horror in that movie with those sins, and they're creepy. It's nice to see such a fun superhero movie after all the dark and grim stuff we get so often these days out of DC. My thoughts on Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I do have a video talking about some spoilers. That was just a brief, similar to the Scream video, just recorded right outside the theater. I don't hate it, but I do think it's weaker than the first film. I wouldn't say rush out to go see it, but I'd say watch it if you're looking to go to a matinee movie, or watch it when it comes to HBO Max in the next few months. And then, just like all the other franchises, to get ready for John Wick 4, I watched the first 3 films. And man, I have a love-hate relationship with these movies. I think the first one is perfect. Like a 10 out of 10. I love it. It's a tight 90. And it's such a good spy movie. Action movie. And things like that. Directed by Chad Stahelski, who actually used to be Keanu Reeves' stunt double in The Matrix, and so they had that relationship, and they love their stunts, and so the action is so cool in the whole franchise. Chapter 2, I used to be a Chapter 2 hater. Honestly, I really kind of didn't like it. I thought it was too much of the same, similar to like how I said with other franchises on this channel. Upon this rewatch, I think Chapter 2 is probably the second best one. Like, I think it has interesting action and interesting plot, and it develops the story and pushes things forward. Versus Chapter 3, Parabellum, I think has a really cool opening. Again, video up there. But I think that's kind of it. It's okay. It's cool, but it gets a little too caught up in the lore of everything and trying to make this spy world way deeper than it needs to be. But yeah, overall, I still love these first 3 movies, and so of course I've got the box set here. Like I said, if you haven't seen these, they're all 3 streaming on Peacock right now, so go check those out there. And then of course after watching those, I bet you can guess what I went to the theater to go see, and that was John Wick Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is an interesting one. Again, not going to go into spoilers here. I don't have a video at the moment, but if you want me to, I can. Let me know in the comments down below. But I think Chapter 4 is probably maybe the weakest in the franchise. It's easier to take in than Parabellum, in my opinion, but the story is... Script, not great. The action in this movie is the best it's ever been. The franchise is at a 10 out of 10 here when it comes to the action. And it's the longest of the franchise, which is also... I think we got maybe, all action and left the story on the ground. But that being said, there is no such thing as a bad John Wick movie. Even though I think it's the weakest of the four, it's still a good time, and definitely go check it out if you're at all interested. Moving on and looking at the TV shows I watched, I have to give you a fair warning. I'm terrible about TV shows and keeping up with them. So I do what I can. So my TV show list is not as long. But this month I did start Severance on Apple TV Plus. Really good. Go check that out if you haven't. Severance is this idea of these employees at this company and their brain is severed. Their memory is severed. They cannot remember anything from the outside world, and when they leave work, they cannot remember anything from work. And so it's kind of a fun mystery, they, as you can probably hear from that idea, some questionable things might be happening at work then. And so it's the fun, cool mystery of solving what's going on. It has been renewed for a second season, so definitely check it out if you're at all interested, because there's more of it coming. The Mandalorian Season 3 started this month. I've been trying to cover it on the channel. There's some videos up here. Yeah, I think Mando Season 3 is off to an interesting, fine start. I'm curious what they're going to do with the Watch and things like that. Everybody complaining about the one episode being Andor Jr. and, worst episode of the series. Come on, y'all. Be real. Curious to see where that goes and just continue watching. Mando is one of the best Star Wars shows out there. I know we're getting a lot of them lately, but definitely check it out if you haven't watched it already. What are you doing? The Last of Us finished Season 1 this month with episodes 8 and 9. I have a video about that if you want to hear my deep thoughts on that. Overall, I think it was okay. I thought first half of the season was stronger than the back half, but yeah, if you're at all interested in that story or if you've played the video game, check it out at some point. Streaming on HBO Max. It's there. It's waiting. I finally finished Season 8 of The Flash. I have been watching The Flash since the pilot, and I fully admit this show is woof. And not what she used to be. But at this point, I'm so far in, I have to finish. And so, I finally watched the rest of Season 8 on Netflix. Seasons 1 through 8 are streaming there if you want to check it out. I would definitely go say watch at least Seasons 1 through 5. I really like those first 5 seasons. And then even watch Season 6, the first half of Season 6 if you want, because then they have the crossover event, and that's where you can kind of stop watching all the DC superhero shows. Except for maybe some of the ones I'm going to list later in this video. And then with that, I also have started Season 9 of The Flash, because that is now airing. That's the final season. Like I said, it's a TV show. I'm finishing it. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to wrap this show up. Yeah, so this season is a shortened 13-episode final season, and they are already on episode 6, and I'm not quite sure what they're planning or where they're going, but we'll see. Like I said, finishing it out, gotta see it to the end. And go watch those first, 5.5 seasons. With the return of The Flash also came the return of Superman and Lois, DC's best TV show right now. Please go watch Superman and Lois if you're not. I know it's on the CW, but it's definitely a different team working on it. Because it's miles above the other shows. Does such a good job at capturing Clark, both as a father and as Superman. And, people turn away, why is Ed Lois in the top? Why we gotta... Lois is a perfect, developed character. She is such an emotional anchor for this show. I love this show so much. This show and Stargirl are the 2 DC shows I would recommend everyone watch. no matter what your feelings are. And season 3 of Superman and Lois is starting off. I am not spoiling anything here, but this one looks like it might be quite the emotional, quite the gut punch of a season. And, well, I talked about the good DC show, so I guess I also have to say my friend Phil with 1L and I started watching Gotham Knights for the channel. If you don't know, this is the YA show from the CW starring the Bat family, but they're not the Bat family. It's DC's Descendants, if you know what that is, from Disney Channel. And so essentially it's some of Batman's Rogues Gallery's kids and the Bat family plus the CW's original character for some reason. And basically Batman's dead. It's another one of those stories. You know, Batman's always dead. He can never just be there. He's always dead. Yeah, Gotham Knights, not great. Don't watch it. Please, I don't want the CW to renew this. I don't think they will anyways because they have no money. They haven't been profitable since, what did that report say? Like, since they started? Phil and I started watching it because that's where, that's how we met, was like the Arrowverse, and that's how we became roommates. And so we, of course, had to dance on its grave and watch that show too. Well, there might be a video coming soon. Who knows? Another TV show that I've been watching that's still currently running is My Hero Academia. This month in March, I started the back half of Season 6. I watched the first half live every week, but I fell off a little bit in the back half, so now I'm binging that. Really good. We're getting into the meat and potatoes of the show. You know, not to spoil anything, but the show literally 6B starts with like a title card, The Final Act Begins. And so we're ramping up to the finale here. I'm excited to see what they've got. It's one of my favorite shows. And then finally, the last TV show I watched in March was Season 1 of The Legend of Vox Machina over on Amazon Prime. My friends, Natalie and Chelsea, have been trying to make me watch this show for I don't even know how long. I'm a little into D&D, but I don't know like the deep lore. I've played like 2 one-shot campaigns that we finished, in like a day or 2, and then we were done. Yeah, as someone who doesn't know anything about D&D, I thought the show was really fun, really cool, a lot funnier than I thought it would be. I've got our Season 1, Part 1 reaction up here. Part 2 will probably be going up soon, if not before this video. Who knows? Sorry, editing takes time. But yeah, awesome show. Best... Probably might have taken over as my favorite fantasy show. I'm not really a fantasy guy. I watched Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon is really good, though. But I think Vox Machina might edge it out as my favorite fantasy. For those of you that don't know, I realized I'm rambling and haven't explained some of these shows like I wanted to. The Legend of Vox Machina is an animated adaptation of the campaign of the same name from Critical Role, which is Matt Mercer and his friends playing D&D. And so it's just such a fun time. They get so shitposty and funny. And it's... you can see it in the show where, okay, this is a D&D campaign and this is how a bunch of friends would talk to each other while playing. So definitely, if you have not, go watch that one. We're going to start Season 2 here probably tomorrow or at some point. And those videos will be coming soon too. Looking at books I read in March. Oops, they're all comic books. Who could have guessed? First comic I read this month was Shazam, The Monster Society of Evil. This book is an adaptation. It's a one-off. It's not a continued line, so it's an easy, you can pick it up and read it. Definitely, I think, made for maybe a younger audience. It takes some liberties with the characters that are interesting. It's drawn by the artist who does the art for Bone. If you know who that is, I'll have him up on the screen here. So it's got an interesting art style, and I think it's a fun, cute little story. It's got Mr. Mind, who I wish we could have seen in the movies. Very Saturday morning cartoon. Very fun book. And so go check that one out if you can. And what better way to follow up that wholesome Saturday morning cartoon with Shazam than Superman fighting the KKK? So I've got here, they're not actually the KKK in the book, but they are Superman Smashes the Klan. And so this is a story adapted from a 1940s radio show that you can actually find on YouTube. You know, I'm pretty sure there's a few people that have it listed. The original story is Superman versus the Clan of the Fiery Cross, if you want to go listen to it. But so yeah, this one, again, one shot. It is from DC's Young Adults line, so it doesn't get, like, crazy into, you know, there's nothing explicit or horrid in here. But it does not take the ideas of racism and the Klan lightly. And Superman don't stand for that shit because he's the man. So the art style is really cute. I really like the art. Trying to hold that up. I'll probably just end up putting some panels up here. But yeah, I really like the art style. Like I said, they don't shy away from the heavy materials while still keeping it like rated PG-13. You know, there's nothing R-rated in here. Really good. Again, one-off, one-shot, set in the 1940s. Superman's got the, I love when he has the black and red emblem like Kingdom Come, or the Fleischer suit. You know, this one is obviously very inspired by the Fleischer suit. Like, see right there, there's a perfect panel of why this book is awesome. You know, you've got big Superman standing up to the racist bully who's trying to attack the Asian American girl in the story and her family. Really good one. Definitely go check it out. I'm not sure if it's available to read digitally. Okay, so it appears it is on DC Universe Unlimited if you have that subscription service. You can also, I would check your local library. I learned this month that my local library has so many. I'm a physical reader. I'm a physical media person, as you can see from the DVDs and the books. But yeah, my local library has so many comics available digitally. So yeah, check your local library. And then because of the announcement, like with the DCU, and that we're going to be getting Damian, that reinvigorated my interest in Damian Wayne. I really liked him when he first debuted. I liked that he was the asshole. I have Super Sons sitting somewhere here. Yeah, there it is. With him and Jonathan Kent. That one's a cute, wholesome story. And jumping into the big, overarching stories can be so much. You know, where do I even start? Batman number 667. You know, oh man. So I picked up, this is from Rebirth. This is Robin, son of Batman. This is a solo outing from Damian, and it's basically his apology tour. He is going back and trying to right the wrongs that he did while he was serving with the League, now that he's better working with Batman. And as you can hopefully see on here, if there's not too much of a glare, Damian, they actually draw him with some melanin, which is nice because he is supposed to be, like, I believe the Alkuls are Central Asian, Southeast Asian. And so it's nice to see versus, like, while I love Super Sons, you know, whose goddamn white baby is that? So, no, it's cool to see him drawn like this. I think the art style in this book, another interesting, it's nothing that stands out super, you know, like, wowza, but it's cute, and it's interesting. As you can see on the cover, Damian has his giant bat pet thing named Goliath. I'm not going to spoil anything. They get into where Goliath came from more in the book. But yeah, I would definitely recommend checking this one out if you're interested in a, like I said, this is a pretty contained one-off Damian story, his apology tour. And so go check that one out. Not going to spoil it. But this book ends off on a pretty big cliffhanger of, you know, dun dun dun. Something Damian did is going to be a big problem. But then he says, wait, pause, put the story on hold. I have to go back to Gotham so that I can participate in Robin War. Robin War is a story from, again, Rebirth, and this is a crossover of all the different, like Damian's line, We Are Robin, Dick Grayson's line, Red Hood, Tim Drake. They're all, it's a big old crossover. And basically, as you can see, Court of Owls storyline, which hit or miss on those. This storyline is that the Court of Owls take over Gotham's government, shocker, and they make being Robin illegal. Batman has disappeared, and with his disappearance, a bunch of orphans, basically all the orphans in Gotham, decide that they're going to be Robin now and go be vigilantes, and some things don't go well. They get people get hurt, people get shot. You know, there they all are. They're all saying, I am Robin. So then Dick, Tim, Jason, and Damian all come back together to basically say, you guys are going to get yourselves killed. Let us train you. And then that's kind of what this book is them training them and then the fight against the Court of Owls. I won't spoil the resolution, but it's really, 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 really dumb. I do not like it. And you don't even get the full resolution in this book. It resolves it in the sense of this book, but then if you want the real conclusion to the Robin War, you gotta go read Nightwing / I think he's Grayson at that point. He's not Nightwing. So, I would say skip it. Unless you're reading like Nightwing's run, then like I said, that's really important. Because while this is the big crossover with all the Robins, then I feel like it goes back into Dick's story. You can probably skip Robin War. And then after that, I picked up, because I liked the first one, I picked up the second volume, the sequel to Robin, Son of Batman. In that first volume, it ends on the cliffhanger of like, oh god, Damian kind of fucked up bad. This one kind of just picks up and it's fine. He's back. It's like he forgot. It's like he went to go participate in the Robin War, and then he forgot, and then he gets reminded when Goliath, his big bat friend, shows back up to, hey, yo, fight ain't over yet. I don't like this. I don't like the second volume. I don't think it's as interesting or as fun. It does have some cool moments, like you can see you've got Batman, Damian, and Talia, who agree to work together to solve the problem here. And Damian in this one, he's kind of introduced to a rival, which is just basically this other little demon child who wants to do bad things. And, now that Damian's Robin, he doesn't want to do those bad things. If you read the first book and you liked it, then maybe pick this one up. Skip Robin War. You don't need it. Like I said, this book ends with the big cliffhanger and Damian being like, oh, well, that'll have to wait till next time because I have to go fight in the Robin War. And then he comes back here and is, yeah, that Robin War was bad. Definitely read this one. This one also has a really cool fight with Damian and Deathstroke, which they're always sometimes connected depending on the storyline. This one's a fun one. It's set in an Egyptian temple where Damian has managed to get them through the temple, Indiana Jones style, without setting off all the traps. And then he and Deathstroke have a fight, and he realizes he can't beat Deathstroke one-on-one. So he starts setting off the traps in the temple to trip up Deathstroke. And so this one, very good. Read this one. It's the red one. Volume 1, Year of the Blood. Volume 2, Dawn of the Demons. Check it out if curious, but you can skip it. And then the last comic that I started, I haven't finished, you see my bookmark in there, is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This is the comic that the upcoming Supergirl movie in the DCU is going to be based on, and so I was really curious. Again, it's a one-off contained story. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, issues 1 through 8. So, very good story. It's the story of Supergirl as she joins this young girl on this revenge story, and she kind of questions just what is her place in the galaxy? And she's held up to the standards of her cousin, and does she want to be a hero, a good person? Things like that get questioned. Really good art. Like, the art style is just something else in this book. Just look at that. That's awesome. It's beautiful. Yeah. Good art. Good book. Again, haven't finished it, but unless it totally falls off the rails at the end, I don't see myself changing my mind. This one is available pretty much anywhere. This one I know 100% is available on DC Universe, is available at other digital comic places. I would recommend. Amazon says it's sold out and won't be in stock till April, but I ordered this one, told me it wasn't coming till April 5th, showed up 2 days later. Another note I have to mention is that this is written by Tom King, which I know might be a turnoff for some people because I read his Batman. His Batman, not good. Not good. But his Supergirl, really good. All of Robin, Son of Batman, is also on DC Universe Infinite. I just checked that. And again, anywhere you can buy digital comics. Alright, last thing to look at is video games. This one's a lot shorter than the rest of the list because video games take a lot longer. My friends and I play Overwatch almost every night, every day. Well, now it's Overwatch 2 because of all that fun. But, so yeah, Overwatch 2. It's free to play. Check it out if you haven't. If you don't know what it is, it's a 6v6 hero shooter. You know, sometimes it's capture the flag or an escort game. So you and your friends, each of you pick a hero who has their own abilities, and you kill the enemy team to get the objective. I have too many hours in that game. But, yeah, like I said, Overwatch 1 was a $60 game. Overwatch 2, they went free to play, which say what you will about what it did to the game. Give it a shot if you haven't already. It's free. It's on every platform. Check it out. In between all those countless hours of work, Overwatch, reading, and watching TV shows, I also finished my replay of Batman Arkham Knight so that I could have the footage to then use for the upcoming video. This is the conclusion to the Arkham franchise. Well, at the time, we are getting Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League later this year. That is also set in this universe. It's okay. It's probably the weakest of the 4 games, but it's still fun. It's a Batman game. Check it out. I don't think it's that bad as people say. At launch, this game was a horrid mess, and I still can't get the PC version to run right for my setup. Like, maybe I just need to play with the settings more, not just try to go with default settings. But if you can play it on console, I think it runs flawlessly on console. Again, you might have to tweak it for PC. But also on PC, you can get it for like $1.99 during most Steam sales. This game's dirt cheap now. I did not realize that this game is 8 years old. Jesus, how time flies by. I am a coward. I have to preface this now. I love the story of scary games, but I'm a chicken. It's one thing to watch. It's another day, actually, it be you playing. So, I love the Resident Evils, though. I don't find them that scary, specifically the third-person ones. 7 and 8 are scary, but because they're first-person. But I don't find 1 through 6 scary because they're third-person. I can see the enemies coming, things like that. Well, that changed with Resident Evil 4 VR, which I tried with my friends. Again, video might be coming soon. We recorded me playing it, but I haven't done anything with that footage yet. I also got very motion sick. If you ask me, Resident Evil 4, while it's scary and it made me motion sick, it's probably the best VR game out there. It's one of the only VR games I've seen that are so fleshed out. And it's this kind of open world. Not really, but it's one of the first VR games I've seen that's not just a demo of you sitting there, pew, 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 pew. And so, good time. Good one to check out. And while I was terrified of the VR version, I was much braver in Resident Evil 4 Remake. I love these remakes of the games. I love the gameplay, the style of them. and I had never finished Resident Evil 4. I hate tank controls, so I hated the way the original game played, and then, like I said, chicken in the VR. And so, here, it's been great for me so far. I've been playing through it, I've been working on it, and so good. Those games are so good. If you are at all curious, but maybe scared like me, I would say go check out Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. You can usually get those on sale now because it's been so many years. You can get those for, $10 or less. And those are both, 2. Resident Evil 2 remake is a great, fantastic 10 out of 10, awesome game. Resident Evil 3, not so great, but still, go check it out if you've got the opportunity. And so yeah, I think that's everything I did in March. As you can see, pretty busy month, and things aren't gonna lighten up. We've got more movies coming out in April, as well as just the things I decide to watch with my friends, or watch on my own. In April, I plan to continue to read more comics, and so yeah, I'll have another one of these for you at the end of April. If any of my recommendations or opinions changed your mind on something or made you want to check something out, let me know down in the comments below. Or if you have watched, played, read, or seen anything that I have talked about today, let me know down in the comments below. If you liked what you saw here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when the next one's coming. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.